Hello to JD Days.
Hi there. Hello. Good
How are you?
evening. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
So, can you tell me how did JD Days get the group name?
Well, it's an interesting story, and aliases have come with these people that have come into music. Elton John, George Michael, David Bowie, even in the Beatles, people called Richard Starkey Ringo, and so it just felt that we should just go along with that, and somehow I got called James. So um, in JD Days, being as I started off being a solo artist, and then acquiring the band and building it over the last 6 7 years, I just used acronyms or synonyms, and we managed to get the days after um, J. So it's pretty. Looking back, it just must have happened on one drunken night, drinking herbal tea or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, it just worked out. JD Days uh, was something we all came up with and just carried on with it, and it seems to be you know well suited to us as well. So.
I know back in 2020 you released your debut single called Evergreen Christmas. So, what's it like going to the recording studio when you very first released your debut single?
Well, we've always been doing that. The thing about 2020 was probably that was in the beginning of the unfortunate reminder that we had a lockdown, and so the thing with it, and uniquely, which has had some bearing on future transitions into music and the way we've budded out and developed, is we were forced to speak remotely and work parts of that album or parts of that single remotely. Actually, even a person would do a part in a bedroom and would come back on, and we'll send it into this what you call a door, and would have our our great friend Gustavo Ires, who's our producer, and when he's not touring himself with the different people, he'll come and he'll perform with us. So he was able to put together the little chunks that we all did, and that actually was not recorded in a studio. That was all additions of different people sending in their sections, and he did an amazing job of putting it together.
Joys of behind the scenes.
Exactly.
So, what was it like to record the debut EP, Here Comes Santa?
Here Comes Santa was a great. It was a great time. We as usual, what happens is I'll have the idea. I'll put together the song with the arrangement and the lyrics, and it will be 95% done, and I'll play it to the others, and they'll add little bits, and literally it quite often is the way. I'll play it once, and then everyone will start to get hold of their instruments and play along, and all of a sudden we've got the framework of the entire song but with the additional instruments. And it's a magical thing. And with that particular song, it actually was obviously around Christmas, and we made an accompanying music video, a little bit of fun music video as well, just to sort of put a signature on it, which was really fun. But I'm excited with that to look at now the advancements we've made with the ideas, with the sort of 3D animation, which really does give us the opportunity to convey the lyrics in most songs, but particularly in that Here Comes Santa one, which is really really for the kids, because it's Christmas is, most of us would think, for the children, it's family, but it's a real magical time if you're lucky enough to be a kid and remember what it was like, and you might be our age, and you'd be thinking about being a well behaved person, so that Santa would deliver presents on Christmas Eve and wake up and he'd deliver these presents. So that's well depicted in the actual video, that we'll be able to see released on the 23rd of December. That goes alongside the album, the lyrical album, and audio available on the 5th, next Friday, week today actually. Well, next Friday. So yeah, it was a magical song, and we all love Christmas.
We do when we was a child. Not so nowadays when we're slightly older. So,
Yeah.
can you tell me another EP release called Angel Woman?
Yeah, that was my first attempt at properly writing a song. And actually, the thing with that is it was a time when actually we were expecting our first, our son, and it was around Christmas. It was about 7 years ago. I actually wrote it, and I put it together at about a week before Christmas. And my idea was exactly as it is now. It was to just make a little storybook and have little songs, and it was a Christmassy sort of feeling we had, and with pretty much everything that you will hear from JD Days, as listeners and followers will understand, is it's a very lyrical perspective on music, and the lyrics are it's strongly focused on lyrics without meaning to be or wanting to be, quite naturally. And so, as I'm explaining the Angel Woman, it's talking about an angel woman appearing in the night. Think the Snowman, Alan Jones, that early '80s that we see every Christmas. Is a little bit like that, hand in hand in the night, looking at different spheres and the world in a different light, and then interpreting it as a listener may in their own way. Um, and again, with the music video, I think that's my favourite, if I have one, in terms of what it conveys lyrically and manifests in animation.
So, do you enjoy doing the videos to accompany your
Yeah,
singles that release?
we're in an age where we've got this AI technology and we embrace it for what it is. And the production was led by us, by human touch, entirely. And the beauty of the AI animation side is it actually does what we tell it, with regards to what we want in the scene selection, marry it in with the lyrics, which is why it works so well, particularly for us as a band and the sort of music we have, because we rarely, when we make videos and have done in the past, it would be, I mean, my wife would often quite joke with me, she's a little dig in the ribs, and she'd say, if you're talking about the stars, you'll have a picture of a star, or if you're talking about waking up, you'll have a picture of you opening your eyes first. See, I said, I'm not that bad. So, but so when it comes to this, it does it in a very tasteful way that people will understand, and seemingly fits with what we've tried to develop, which is a kind of a family, happy, all the things that Christmas should be. Time for forgiveness. In terms of the whole album, not this particular song, just as a song, but the whole album is kind of forgiveness, Christmas, helping those less needy, more needy, less well off. If someone falls over, give them a helping hand, say thanks if you cross the road. The sort of stuff that sort of a society, even if only on that one day, we get that feeling about it being a special time where, just for one day, let's all just try and be happy humans and get on.
So, this past year was a nice summer. So, came to me the single that is called Cool Breeze of Summer.
Well, again, and that one, it brings in, I'm very proud of that in terms of the lyrics. So it's like every day it feels like it's never ending. All the profits and shares we're spending, a spammed up mailbox full of pending. So let's post up what's new and show what's trending. It's like it's of the time. So it's a feeling of enjoyment of summer, happy that it's sort of coming, and young love that maybe we can all relate to if we have been lucky enough to encounter that special person at a time, whoever it may have been. And if it was at summer, it'd be easy to relate that those times, when it's warm outside, maybe you're on holiday, you get a bit of romance, and there's, especially if you're from England and you go to seek the sun, and you want a bit of sunlight on your back to get away from these dark days that we have, and you've got that happiness, you're off work, you're on holiday, and bonus, you actually fall in love or find, that's what the song's about. But it brings in the stuff about, how it is important to have a holiday for many, mental reasons, physical reasons, just to have that break. And it brings to light, now we're in this very busy world where we all work very hard. We're constantly using media, so social media, which is great. Emails, they pop up all day long. And as humans, in terms of how long we've been around on the planet, it's not something that we've had much training to deal with, so only in the last generation or two. So yeah, I touched on that. It was a little dig at how fast everything's moving and how it's important just to reset on a holiday.
So yes, times are. We never stop learning.
Yeah, no, that's
No,
true.
no matter what we do. So can you tell me more about the single release called "And I Love Her"?
The And I Love Her was one of the inspirational groups of all time. Of course, the Beatles and Paul McCartney. He sings, and the history will show. The Beatles are what what changed music, popular music, to what it is now and what it was since then. So the song "And I Love Her," original, written by the Beatles, particularly Paul. I thought, well, it just fits at the time last year. It fits with what I was trying to do. I was trying to go with more acoustic type songs and building up for an acoustic love album, which is in the pipeline, but other things got in the way, and it's kind of been on the back burner for about 12 months, which will then lead into what we're going to do for Valentine's. And I think it's going to be featured, from what I've chatted to the guys about, on our very similar theme to this Christmas Anthology musical video that's out on the 23rd of December. It's going to be along the lines of that, but just before Valentine's, and I think that track will be on there with some animation as well.
So continue single released this year called "Live for Today."
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. It's I try not to listen to too much music, because I find it does make it easier when I might make my own songs. And I listen, though, to what goes on around with news and topics and things. And somehow, as is often the case when I write, I'll pick up a guitar and I will strum. I won't worry too much about what chords I'm playing. I'll try and get a melody. And I just must have listened to what was going on earlier in the year. And the lyrics are sort of like that. So basically, wake up in the morning, what do I see? A million people searching to be free, searching for new life they hope to find, picking up the pieces that they left behind, now let them in. Obviously it will be with a melody, and it went with the music, and we put in a Ukrainian bandura, which is like a cross between a guitar banjo. It's very, very lovely, beautiful sound. So it's got a sort of folky world kind of take to it as well. And it's a kind of JD Days way of saying, behind everything, we're all here. We live and we breathe. We walk the same earth. And, it's important not to forget that, despite things getting in the way. Ultimately, we're all one, and we should try and just have a way of being able to live in a peaceful way as one.
So continue more about your latest album, released very soon, called "Christmas Anthology."
The Christmas Anthology is a multi-track, well, it's a 10-track album. We've got 4 covers, well-known songs. There's 6 originals on that, and there's also a bonus instrumental of Evergreen Christmas at the end. And it's tied in with the anthology musical. So it's one of the first around that I've seen, and I hope it will be the first of many that will inspire others, if they've just started or if they haven't, to be able to put music out that can be tied in with a music video that works nicely for viewers, and helps get the music around that otherwise maybe not have been so easy, with £1 billion budget music videos that the average hardworking, playing in the pub, working hard all day long to try and get your music heard, singer and musician and artist, would know well about.
So after this interview, we're going to play the focus single called "Somewhere." So can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, Somewhere is about a time where in a life you might realize that it's a bit hustle and bustly. There's more to life than just, just going on every day, and looking at what's around you that's important, and understanding, for in this particular instance, that if you are lucky enough to have a person, that person, they say, you've got five people around you, that you see sort of like 100% of your life. Most people, that's what I heard. Now, whether that's true or not, I sort of took that on because it's quite similar to me. I've had many friends, but I've got about five people probably outside of my family, the friends, that are quite like that. And being able to run away together is what it's about. So running away, either lyrically or physically, to a place where you can grow and just have time with each other, when you're not around a big crowd, when you're not influenced by other people, and you can just take that time where you can actually really take that time to tune into each other, and see how special it is, the relationship you have with your closest friends. And um, and 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 again, if people would listen to that and how I've said that, they'd in their own way see that, if they look closely and reflect, it's giving that time to those people around you, and not forgetting that, out of all the billions of people on the planet there are, there, for me, there's five people that, they've been part of the life and shaped who I am and what we are. And that's not saying that others don't, but it's a time for people to look and maybe see, is there any truth in it, and think, who do you spend most time with? And that's a kind of song for that.
So, are JD Days working on any new music in the near future?
I'm sorry. So what would it be for the future?
Um,
What do we plan?
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, well, I think now we've got so much material we've had, and again, I put it down to times during lockdown where we couldn't perform for whatever reasons, of course, related to that, and we have a backlog of so much material, and recorded material that we've already mixed and produced. I've got albums of songs, literally, and it's now is a great time to be able to put forward different theme times. Maybe we'll go after the anthology for Christmas. We're definitely going to get the Valentines, and then I think in the summer we'll have a summer album. So some more, we, building on from, a top five. We had it with JD Days. It was, Baby Says. It was more of a summer song, top five UK dance chart remix we had with So Cool Network and Audio Freaks. It's song by itself without being remixed and mastered. Baby Says is a top quality summer song. So we've got, like, as we've just discussed, Cool Breeze of Summer and other ones. So I think, you're going to see sort of anthologies of seasons, maybe. I might change it round so it's not so predictive, but we could easily do it.
Then perhaps another winter album maybe next year.
Yeah, I'll market it a bit more cunningly than that, but yeah, I mean, the beauty of it is I know, and I'm very lucky. I've many people around me that can play guitar and all. I mean, multi instruments, but there aren't many people that can write a good song. And Noel Gallagher, it's a bit Noel Gallagher. Bless Noel, and all respect. He's like, well, it's true, because he writes some great songs. It's not so easy to write a good song, but luckily, I don't think it's hard, but I do write some good stuff, and I'm glad that it's the time people can actually get to listen and enjoy the music.
So, are JD Days independent group?
Yeah, unless someone wants to sign us.
So, what's it like being an independent artist as a group?
It's difficult because you've usually got to find the time outside of other things that you take, because being a musician, nowadays is very difficult, because when we had the LPs and the EPs, we all go to Woolworths and we're buying the tapes and we'll get whatever it was. It was so easy. In comparison, it's not saying they had it easy, but now it's not like that. So people can go on Spotify and they can find so much great music. It's not, there's not as many pubs. So pubs, statistically you can check where people would go and they'll play in pubs. I don't know how many close down a year, so there's less places to play. And in honesty, it's not so fashionable to listen to different types of music. unfortunately, folk type music in terms of the masses, people have moved away from that type of music from the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. It's less and less and less guitar music, people that write their own music that are mainstream, which isn't necessarily anyone's fault or a bad thing. And so, the guitar bands, how many Oasises are there that are playing nowadays on, wherever it may be? And so fashion changes and it makes it harder. Playing at venues makes it harder, and places to play make it harder, and the cost of living. So you can't always rely on going and playing at the Millennium Dome or at Wembley Stadium. Gigs might be few and far between, and you won't make much off Spotify.
No, that's certainly not. So, can you tell me how did you come across JD Days? Come across these Davies promotions?
Well, Pete is a good friend of mine from quite great PR, and he put me on to Lisa Davis Promotions and Michael, and we've hit it off straight away. They're a good bunch of people, very well known in the music industry, high quality, very professional, and luckily enough, from introductions, like with most things, I've been able to enjoy, this new direction that we've got for this anthology release that we have with the music and the video.
So, JD Days got any gigs coming up? I know you mentioned you've got one around about when this interview is going to go out. So, can you mention that one?
We'd have finished one this time tomorrow. It's a charity Christmas event in Surrey, in a lovely sort of mansion type hall that they're doing up, and we've got an hours long set. We've got some covers, and we're doing some others on JD Days website, jddays.com, jddaysproductions.com. All the information can be found, and anything that you type in like JD Days will pop up something to do with social media, and you'll find your way to seeing what we've got coming up. And then we've got every week a couple of gigs. Of note, the 16th of December in South Croydon is a VIP only invite, and that's simply because we don't want it to be too noisy, because we're going to film and release a live video of us doing the circuit we're doing with the set list for the Christmas day, as a little bonus. So the 16th of December. We've also got one in London on the 8th, which again is a private one. We've been asked to do 5 songs for, but yeah, there's lots and lots to look out for. And if it is a private particular function, there'll be little clips that we usually get permission to put on our social media, so people will be able to see what it was like if they were there.
Thank you for letting me chat to you today.
I'm really sorry, so I missed that.
Thank you for letting me chat to you today.
I tell you what, I'm sorry.
I said thank you for letting me chat to you today.
No, absolutely. Thank you. I'm sorry. It must be. There's a helicopter going over the top of me. Maybe Sam. It could be Santa getting homing in before Christmas. No, thank you. Thank you for the time. It's been a fantastic evening, and I hope that when you hear the album and the listeners hear the album, that they will really enjoy it, and it will inspire other people to get to work and enjoy the benefits of helpful AI technology for music videos.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Goodbye.